wanted to come on here, excuse me, and record another video about the U.S. economy. And really, the question has to be, what is going to drive the economy in 2026? The job market numbers came out for a couple months today. They were overall pretty weak, negative 1 month. I think last month, November, was positive, but these things tend to be revised, so it'll probably get revised downwards. But unemployment went up. Uh, and it's like, what is going to fix that going into next year? I mean, companies are making money, they're still doing layoffs, leaning into efficiency, leaning into AI. So the job market by itself may not get better in 2026. The Fed's cutting rates, they did it conservatively last week, and they're hesitant to commit to a lot of rate cuts in 2026. And it's unclear if that would even help the situation, right? Borrowing costs aren't necessarily the bottleneck to get the economy going. It's a lot of job cuts, tariff uncertainty, inflation. So it may not even matter all that much if the Fed cuts rates. The tariff is another thing. The Supreme Court's going to be coming out with their decision um, probably in Q1. And the problem is, even if they rule against Trump, he will just find another obscure law to implement tariffs. It'll be total chaos. Countries won't know if the tariffs are on or off. Companies won't know if the tariffs are on or off. They'll be waiting for their refunds because the Supreme Court shot it down, but Trump will just keep fighting it. So that's another tailwind. And it's unclear what can propel the economy. The U.S. economy is 70% consumer spending. The job losses, the inflation, you think about healthcare costs, childcare costs, the student loans are back on. So the consumer's tapped, um, the job market's looking bad, the tariffs are there. So what can really propel the economy? Uh, the only thing is the AI, right? If we keep developing AI, uh, it'll unlock all this magical productivity and um, economic gain. But the problem there is it'll likely just be concentrated in a handful of companies and their executives, um, as well as the top of the government, um, Trump, his family, all the crypto projects. So does that even help the broader economy? Probably not. Time will tell. But the other problem is, the AI may take longer than people think to take off. I mean, these companies like Oracle have taken on a ton of debt. They're doing circular deals. There are construction projects that need to build out all these data centers. Construction notoriously runs over budget, over schedule. We don't even have the electricity to power them. So AI might be the future, but it might not be in the next 1 to 2 years. So where does that leave us, right? There could be a huge pullback if there's some kind of bubble, take down the stock market a little bit with it. And so then what are we left with really to power the US economy? Um, that's really the issue going into next year is consumers tapped. We got the tariff uncertainty, the AI uncertainty. The Fed may or may not even cut rates more. So what are we looking at that will really get us out of this like slow growth, doldrum, potential stagflation situation? I mean, the U.S. government's running huge debt and deficits. They can't necessarily do a big stimulus. Um, there's a potential shutdown they're talking about again in January over the healthcare subsidies. So in my view, it looks like there's a lot of tailwinds. And really the only thing keeping the economy afloat is a strong stock market because that gives people paper wealth. Makes them at least feel like they have some money, they're seeing returns. If there was to be a big market pullback, that would just probably tip the economy into a deep recession because no one will be spending, even people who are well off and have a lot of money in the market. If they see their portfolio or their stocks chopped 30, 40%, everyone's going to have to readjust. And so there's a lot of downside risk, at least with the broader economy. Who knows with the market? The market just has been on a tear for 3 or 4 years now. But the concern is what will be able to propel the economy besides a narrow AI trade where we're basically betting the whole economy. All right, that's it for today. As always, like the video, subscribe, all that great stuff.